What you got there? Shit. This guy a mess of what?
That's nothing. You should have seen it before.
Guess he won't be dating again.
And like he's ever getting out. He's a psycho killer.
Sweet, what'd he do?
That's classified.
Who like you even know? Why do they keep these losers alive?
The lab wants it.
As what? A crash test dummy?
Who knows? He's been wired up to a box all summer. And maybe he's curing cancer.
Hey, did you see that? Do you think he can hear us?
He can hear all he wants. Hey, Doc, more monkey juice over here.
Yes. Be careful with that one. Let me see.
From the minds of Free Radical Design comes Second Sight, a PlayStation 2 action stealth puzzle 'em up released in 2004, which not only takes inspiration from a number of well-known video game franchises, but also manages to mix in some innovative and original ideas at the same time. Starting up the game, you assume the role of John Vattic, who wakes up in a medical facility to find that his whole world has been blown apart. Not only does he have almost no memory of who he is or why he is there, but also these missing fragments of memories have been replaced with some out-of-this-world Psycho Mantis-style psychic powers, which seem to grow in number and become more prominent and powerful as time goes by, and as John tries to figure out who he is and escape. Second Sight is very much story driven and succeeds right away in not only keeping the player in the dark by introducing extreme resistance from armed guards who shoot on sight and who very much consider him a dangerous threat, but it's all quite clever because right off the bat you are thrust into this character's shoes, discover you have psychic abilities and realise you need to escape but you don't quite know what is going on or why. Free Radical Design throws so many elements into the story purposely in order to try and disorientate and place a greater sense of urgency on the player to try and get out of this dangerous set of circumstances. There's certainly no hand-holding, at least not for the first few levels, and Second Sight feels a lot like this is what's happening, so just deal with it. The game is like a mix between Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid, X-Men and The Crystal Maze, with John Vattic looking like the latter's first Maze host and Rocky Horror Show creator Richard O'Brien. I know, I really need to get out more. You'll spend the first few hours trying to make sense of what's happening and utilising a stealth approach which you will use in conjunction with one of John's new gifts, telekinesis, most notably. As further progress is made, then John will also be able to get his mitts on some decent guns which will definitely tip the odds in his favour. However, whilst running and gunning is immensely satisfying, you will get chopped to pieces unless you manage to use all of your skills very carefully. Luckily the game auto saves at certain points, and if you die or fail a certain mission objective, then you can try again from the last checkpoint or level that you reached.
My head. What? Oh, that can't be. She died. This doesn't make sense. Let's see. Jane Wild.
Unlike most action games where you need to get to the end of the level, Second Sight insists that you look at almost every scrap of information or find specific keys or terminals to achieve objectives. I mentioned that this game incorporates a puzzle element, and whilst most of the puzzling is spent in working out a safe strategy to bypass enemies and to try not to be seen, you will spend the first half of the game finding keys or searching for patient records, which can be a little bit tedious. Sometimes, however, you will need to think a little bit outside the box. As John starts to acquire new powers, he often will need to use them again to distract guards or use astral projection to pull a lever far away from a door that closes quite quickly and would be impossible to get through otherwise.
Well, it is the doctor's laptop. He should know what the password is.
If I'm honest, the first part of the game, the mental institution, really drove me, pardon the pun, mental. I had great difficulty trying to get into the game, and no sooner had I achieved one objective, but I was then taken to a flashback where I got to play out one of John's memories before I was back in the institution.
Mommy Bear, this is Winter Ice, requesting clearance, over.
How we doing?
They've hit some weather, sir. We're losing contact. Roger, Mommy Bear. Over and out.
Okay, Winter Ice, we're on our own.
What am I doing here?
You're here to change things for the better, John.
What things?
That's what we've come to find out.
But what does it have to do with me?
I mean, I was ready to write this game off, but things changed once I got a little bit further through the game. I really started to click with the lead character and the other characters, and understood how brilliantly written this game really is, and how masterfully the story unfolds.
It's going to be alright. Jane, you've got to pull yourself together. Everything's fine.
Get away from me!
We'll get through this. Just wait and see. Jane, you've got to pull yourself together.
Also, the controls took a little while for me to master. You see, John can use his psychic powers or his weapons at the touch of the D-pad and can only do one at a time. Each psychic power uses a bar which diminishes the more the power is used. The bar does fill up again slowly when it is not used. To use these powers or weapons, you need to use the L1 and then the R1 buttons, and this can take time to get your head around. It's a different style of playing, which again you kind of have to persevere with this game to really appreciate it at first. It seems ridiculous, I know, but you'll soon learn to love it. One issue I did have was with the little blue cursor that John uses to aim. In the flashback mission, John is taking through some firearms and stealth maneuvers sections that are wholly required to be learned in order for you to progress further in the game. You're told you can move the little blue cursor around to aim. Well, this thing is so small I can't see it half the time, it just disappears from my viewpoint. Plus, trying to use the right stick to aim at enemies is very tricky and really sensitive that I missed what I was hitting half the time. This game, however, does have an auto aim which is far more effective and works a lot better than manually aiming, so just stick with that. Again, I'm not really a joystick guy, and this is another title that does not support movement with a D-pad and just assumes that using the joysticks to move is going to be preferable for everyone. Another thing I really liked about Second Sight is the ability to turn invisible. You can be right in the middle of a firefight, and if you can get far away from your enemies, you can just turn on the invisibility. You won't be seen, but your psychic bar meter will go down, so you need to think fast on your feet as you are still being hunted. If the bar runs out, then you will be spotted. It makes a lot of situations tense and exciting, and took the idea of stealth to depths I never thought possible. Also, when John gets the ability to heal, that too enhances the action, as you can't just heal up quickly whilst bullets are flying at you. You need to find a safe place. I also really liked when John has to infiltrate another institution to rescue fellow psychic Jane, who has been drugged up to the eyeballs, and poor John must guide her out of the facility.
Excuse me, Doctor. I'm supposed to be interviewing Patient Wild, and I'm not sure where she's being held.
Oh, you're in completely the wrong place. You'll want the high security block in the West Wing.
Thanks a lot.
The mixture of stealth and methodology of finding her was awesome. You sneak past some armed guards, get into the library and chat to the doctors pretending you are a new staff member. Of course, you have to again try not to blow your cover by threatening doctors, as this brings more danger and will seriously impede your progress. Graphically, everything is nice and clear, and the cutscenes have a detailed, cartoony style which perfectly complements the epic story. John and the cast look bright, colourful, and the dark, brooding atmosphere whilst John tries to escape the facility really nails it, giving the player a tense playthrough, as one wrong move means starting again from the checkpoint or the beginning of the level. Plus, this game has a fantastic soundtrack, which alters in certain situations John finds himself in. Again, it's clear that Free Radical wanted their own take on Solid Snake in their own protagonist John, with the twist being that John has slightly more options than Snake has. In conclusion, Second Sight is one of those games that comes so completely out of left field, offering a unique gameplay style it can take a little while to get used to. It throws the player in the deep end and propels them back and forth from the present into John's memories as he tries to piece together just what is going on and why he suddenly has Uri Geller-like abilities. I will say, if like me you are struggling with Second Sight, please persevere, because the game really starts to get fun once you get used to the controls, which do seem a little bit of an odd and bizarre layout. It's easy to dismiss this one as just another PlayStation 2 title. and whilst it doesn't reinvent the wheel, it does offer up a satisfying gameplay experience the more you play. Okay, I just want to say thank you very much for watching my review, and I will see you next time.
Are you okay?
I think so. I keep getting these flashbacks. At first I thought it was my memory coming back, but things keep changing.
We need to find the Colonel.
The Colonel's alive.
Of course he is. They tried to court-martial him. They covered up everything.
Where is he?
He disappeared before they could arrest him. But he gave me an address. A place to go if I was in trouble.